I want to start out by talking about Andrew Tate, which I didn't really prepare to talk about, but there's just some new news that came out on his Twitter account, denying some rumors and things that are going around about him. And for those of you who don't know Andrew Tate, Bethany, I've explained it to you on who he is. And not a lot of people know him, despite the fact that he is one of the, if not the most Googled person in history. I don't think that's in dispute. And still, even though you're probably the most Googled person on the internet, at the same time doesn't necessarily mean that a lot of people know who he is from a mainstream perspective. However, he is currently in a Romanian jail. He is not charged with any crime. And for those of you who don't know, Romania's legal system is quite different from the United States in the sense that you are guilty until proven innocent. And what the Romanian government can do is that they can hold you either 30, 60, 90, or I think all the way up to 180 days in a jail cell while they put together a case. And his alleged crimes are, I guess, like sexual assault or human trafficking. Now, the background about him that I think is important to preface this for those of you who don't know who he is, and the reason why he's so popular is he's a world-class, or was a world-class kickboxing champion. He was on Big Brother, one of the episodes, and was kicked off. I don't remember exactly what happened. I guess another alleged kind of thing that was proven to be untrue, but he went on to make money doing something that's not necessarily, clean. It's a little on the sleazy side, but at the same time was, from what I can understand, legal. I found out about Andrew Tate through Alex Jones, and he, I guess, had hosted Alex Jones's show at one point, and that's how I knew about him. And the reason he's become so popular is he has a what's called a Hustlers University, or some online classes and things like that some people take to teach people how to make money, how to become entrepreneurs, things like that. His way of going about talking about things is a little over the top from the standpoint of what I mean is the best way I could describe it is he teaches masculinity and how to be a man, and not how, and he does it in a very rough way, and he can be condescending and very, I guess, mean, for the lack of a better word, to some people online. But I think at the same time, the reason he's doing it is that's how he's getting his attention, and that's how he's become popular. So the bottom line is he's a masculine figure to a lot of younger men out there that don't have a masculine figure to look up to. And he's got, I think they're all confiscated at this point by the Romanian government, 26 super and hypercars, anywhere from Lamborghinis to Rolls Royces to his most famous automobile, the Bugatti. And of course, that gets a lot of attention from younger people on the internet because they want to have that kind of lifestyle. They want to see he travels on private jets, has all these things. And again, I don't necessarily agree with how he goes about doing his thing, but at the same time, I can respect what he's doing because he's gained so much popularity. And I think there needs to be somebody who goes out there and teaches from a masculine perspective, as opposed to all the garbage that we're seeing on the internet now with, guys wearing, basically turning into women. And this is the reason, and after giving you this background, the reason why he's in a Romanian jail. He has taken the world by storm so quickly, so fast, so rapidly, and such a huge amount of people that look up to him that he had to be stopped. Now, I can't prove this, but I'm relatively confident that what ended up happening is that somebody either from the US or the UK, called the Romanian government, because I think he has a home in Dubai and he also has the home in Romania. As soon as he touched down in Romania, either our State Department or the UK ended up basically bribing or telling the Romanian government that he had to get pinched and put in jail in order to slow the momentum that he had been gaining, because he was gaining a tremendous amount of momentum. And now you could sort of see what the strategy is and now how he has sort of kind of dropped out of the mainstream. And that, to me, is, this is very similar to what's going on with Julian Assange, but for a different reason, and Edward Snowden. Julian Assange is being held. He was also charged with I believe in Sweden, somewhere in Scandinavia, with sexual misconduct or whatever it was. Those charges, I think, went away or were dropped. But now he's sitting in jail waiting to be extradited to the United States. And this is no different than what happened with the Pentagon Papers. This is the exact same thing, yet Julian Assange is in jail and Edward Snowden is in Russia, because if he comes back to the United States, he'll go to, the same thing will happen to him. What kind of world do we live in right now where just simply because you are gaining momentum in the opposite direction of what the oligarchs and the deep state and these elitists want, you're going in the opposite direction. They have this ability to put you in jail with no charges. And again, he has not been charged. Andrew Tate and his brother, Tristan Tate, have not been charged with a crime. And yet they're still sitting in a Romanian jail. And the two women who allegedly accused him and his brother have come out and said that they are not victims. And a Romanian judge said, no, you are. That you've been brainwashed, and because you've been brainwashed, that you don't know what you're talking about. So we're gonna hold them anyway, and we're still gonna end up trying. I don't think they're gonna end up being tried for this because they have no evidence, and I would think that they would have it by now, but they don't.
And yet they keep refusing to let him go. They keep denying him.
Well, they continue to hold them, and this is the reason they're doing it. And so just I think it was yesterday or today, there were rumors going around the internet that he has Andrew Tate has lung cancer. Now, if you watch a lot of the videos of Andrew Tate, which I'm sure a lot of you that are watching this probably haven't seen, he smokes cigars like they're going out of style. I don't think it's the healthiest thing in the world, but if you take a look at this picture of him right now, this is what he looked like before going into jail. It's not necessarily a picture of unhealthy. This guy is a world-class athlete. And he just came out about 5 hours ago and said, I do not have cancer. My lungs contain precisely 0 smoking damage. In fact, I have an 8-liter lung capacity and the vital signs of an Olympic athlete. There is nothing but a scar on my lung from an old battle. Jewelers are scarred both inside and out. And I laugh sometimes at some of the things that he says because he can be a very arrogant guy. But again, I think it's sort of a show thing, the thing that an act that he puts on in order to get attention. Because if you've watched enough of the videos of this guy, he is not a bad person. You could just tell by looking at him and the way he is as a normal person. He is not a bad guy. Yeah, does he say things that I probably wouldn't say? Yes. But there's a reason he's gained popularity. I think overall he's a positive role model. I think I think he should change some things. But what he's going through and his brother are going through is a representation of what all of us eventually are going to go through if this kind of stuff continues. Because it is so blatantly obvious what is happening to these guys. This is Nazi Germany across the planet.
They're being targeted.
Yeah. This is taking someone who speaks against what the world government wants and they're going to throw you in jail without charge indefinitely. And I just had to talk about it because, I thought by now they'd be out and everything would kind of go back to normal again. And I guess maybe I'm being naive, but the fact that these two guys are still in jail after the alleged victims came out and said we're not victims, and I've watched countless interviews with Andrew Tate, and he pretty much says the same thing. And he called this. He said, first they try to silence you, and he's been. One thing I forgot to mention, he's been banned off all social media. The only one he's come back to here is Twitter's, and the only reason is because Elon Musk bought it and let him back on. But Andrew Tate has been banned on everything, including Uber, Airbnb, obviously YouTube, scumbags they are. He moved everything over to Rumble. So Rumble, he's housed on Rumble, and he has his Twitter account, and I think he's also on Getter. But first, he said they silence you, and that's precisely what happened. They wiped him off all social media to silence him. And again, for what? There was no reason other than saying he was a misogynist. That was it. So you could tell right away from that action, a concerted effort by every single social media company to ban him, all together, all at once. Just like what happened with Alex Jones and Laura Loomer and everybody else. Then he said, what the next thing, if that doesn't work, which it didn't, by the way, in fact, it made him even more popular. He blew up even more. And that's when I heard about him, because I heard about him on Alex Jones, and I heard more people were taking his clips and things and putting them on their social media. That's what ended up blowing him up so much, was they took clips that he had put together, I think either on Getter or old clips, whatever they may have been, on his Discord server, and of course that got shut down, and then put it all over their TikTok account. He didn't even have a TikTok account. He was blowing up all over the place because people were posting his content on TikTok. So he said, okay, so first they're going to silence me. That's exactly what they did. Next, they'll put me in jail, which is exactly what happened. And he said the third thing, if it doesn't work, they try to kill me. And that's when when this whole thing with the lung cancer came about, I thought, oh my God, if this is true, hopefully it's not. But if it is, he's called it. And is that really the world that we all, as human beings, want to live in? Do we all want to live in a world like this? To where if someone doesn't like what you say, it's one thing if you're an actual criminal, but if you go against a globalist agenda, they're going to throw you in jail just like you were in Nazi Germany,
or whack you
out. Yeah, because I mean, let's look at everybody that's been hanging around the Clintons.
I know.
I mean, there's like a map that somebody put, like, of all the people related to the Clintons.
I mean,
and
they
how
made
many
a
of
movie
them got whacked.
They made a movie about it.
Yeah.
That tells you anything.
So I had to talk about that, and there's more I think I'll probably think about later on, but here's one other thing I wanted to say too, and this goes to the leftist scumbags that are out there, and they're most likely these bots that are still on Twitter. Mm-hmm. That when the rumor came out that Andrew Tate had lung cancer, there was post after post on Twitter on how happy they were that he had cancer. These disgusting animal people would say something like that. And it just and I think a lot of this stuff are bots and probably being paid by the deep state to say these type of things, I hope. But there are people out there that actually think this way, and it's so disgusting. Here's a man who has not been charged with any crime, being held in a Romanian jail, and you're glad that he has cancer. You're posting these memes that you're happy about it. It's just horrible.
That's disgusting.
And I will tell you this: you'll never catch me in Romania. I'll never visit that country, and I hope more people need to start saying, "Do not go to Romania. Do not go as a tourist. Do not go on business." Show the Romanian government what you feel about what's going on, and forget about just Andrew Tate and who he is and all that stuff. But the fact that you have a government that is willing to hold somebody indefinitely without being charged with a crime, and I really have a sneaking suspicion that Romania obviously is guilty. The government is guilty of doing this instead of saying, "All right, enough, let him go." But I think either our government or the UK is involved in this as well.
And of course, where's Biden in all this?
No, that's why I'm saying. That's why I think, he probably has no idea who he is, but I'm sure the people running the actual country, because he's not the one running the country,
right,
have something to do with this.
Mm-hmm.
Donnie says masculinity is a good thing. I agree, but the leftists don't want that, because if you have a guy that looks like Andrew Tate and acts like Andrew Tate, and you have a lot of men that are acting that way instead of these sissified little pansies running around that we have now, and people dressing like girls and being all feminine and stuff, those are fighting men who fight against this stuff. And that's what Andrew Tate was. That is also what's made him so famous, is that he's fought against and spoken out against all of the things that are going on that are being forced down our throats right now. This LGBTQ stuff, all of this drag queen story time, having our kids being, little kids having to go to these drag queen shows. It's nonstop.
There was one recently about drag queens for babies. Did you hear about that? Yeah,
I think that actually got shut down now.
It did
because
it
got
down.
So much backlash.
Yeah, it did. But still, I wanted to make a point of that because it literally was happening.
Mm-hmm. And Bushcraft Quebec says getting stronger exercise is now seen like, and he didn't finish, but I know what he's going to say is that it's toxic masculinity.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not. Exercising, being in shape is a good thing. And that's also something that Andrew Tate encourages to younger men, is to don't be lazy, work out, get in shape, don't be a pansy, and go out there and stake your claim. But the left can't have that. The elitists can't have strong men, because strong men fight against what the globalists are trying to accomplish. And so what do? They shut them down. They demonetized my channel. That's why everybody that's watching, try to go to Rumble from YouTube. Trying to get as many people over to Rumble as I can. Because YouTube, if you think that Twitter was bad, working with the federal government and doing all these things behind the scenes to silence conservatives, YouTube's doing it 10 times worse.
And Instagram and Facebook.
So anyway, I wanted to speak out about Andrew Tate because I had kind of held my tongue about it long enough, and I wanted to say something in risk of course, having my channel banned outright. But I really don't. At this point, it's not really about that, because I do believe that Rumble and these other alternative social media outfits will gain more popularity. More people will move to those alternative social medias, and I can tell you, I can tell by watching what's going on with YouTube that they're struggling. I mean, with all the Google layoffs, Alphabet, the parent company, all the layoffs that are going on,
and ads.
And the ads are nonstop. And you know that the only reason they're doing these ads nonstop is because they're trying to make up revenue. So, all right, I'm going to move on.